Heyo.
You were blocking your background. So I
was
just
doing
saw
that
when
on
you leaned
purpose.
forward.
I was doing that on
Jerk.
purpose.
Welcome back to the Nosebleed
Yeah.
section, episode 20. Wink, wink.
Yes.
Right?
Yep. Big wink there. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, we like now to have different virtual backgrounds pretty much every time. And Giannis. No, you don't deserve to be called Giannis. Bryce hating on Giannis a lot lately. So I'm just reminding him there's a picture of Giannis and his MVP trophy. So just reminding
Which you
him
guys
that he's
might be able to
still
see that here in a few episodes if we do end up going to YouTube. That's our long-term plan here. For now, we're going to stay just audio on Spotify and stuff like that. But
yeah, I don't know. Maybe this one ends up on the tube. We'll see. See if I got time for it. I did.
okay.
I did take the liberty of emailing Ryan Rosillo on Life
Oh,
Advice.
really?
Yep. So sent it into Life Advice. We'll see if we can get on the docket. I doubt it. It was a
Probably
rather
not.
lengthy email, but I was like, I got to explain what's happening. So,
well, he's probably going to be busy talking a lot of ball, which we should probably get into it because we got a lot of ball to talk about.
yeah, we're calling this episode All Ball because it's funny. Like, talk about, oh yeah, once we get into, once finals are over and stuff, we'll get into other sports. Nope. This is honestly, like, obviously we love in-season basketball, but this is like
my favorite time of the
year.
Yeah,
this is like our bread and butter, man. There's so
the Bucks usually don't.
Yeah,
Bucks usually don't do a lot, but watching the rest of the league is still fun.
Yeah, I don't know about like you say usually, but ever since John Horst has been around, Trader John, man.
Yeah,
he's just
that
aggressive.
is true.
So we'll see.
Before we get into that, though, with it being episode 20, you got a quiz for me?
I do. Before we do that, just reminding everyone, if you want to email the nosebleed section number 23 at gmail.com. If you want to send us a message, we'll talk about something. Or if you want life advice, just like Ryan Rosillo, we give great life advice.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. Athletes with the number 20. Let's see. There's some there's some huge ones that you probably should know. I'll start with the number one football player.
Number one football player. Whenever I see number 20, I automatically just think of Gordon Hayward every single time.
Oh, yeah. He's on this list, but he's kind of far down. But
right.
So I'll just keep giving you a clue at a time with like.
All right. So football.
Short amount of time between each clue. So football. Offense.
Offensive. It's probably a running back then.
Running back. Retired.
Retired. Oh, is it Packer?
No. Retired in 1998.
Oh boy. I was 5, Doug. But
Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame.
Oh,
MVP.
What's his name? Barry Sanders.
Yes.
Yeah, he wore 20.
You betcha. Barry Sanders. You got it. Number 2. This is the second highest on the list. Basketball player.
Basketball. Oh.
This was not his only career number. He had another pretty big career number.
Not Gary Payton?
Gary Payton. That's not who this is, but yeah.
Oh, this is Ray Allen.
Yes, Ray Allen. Okay. Football.
Okay.
Defense.
Football defense. Is it a corner?
Safety. Retired in 2013 with the Ravens.
The Ravens.
Arguably considered one of the great safeties of all time.
Yeah, what's his name? Ed Reed?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. I just drew a blank with the 20s besides Gordon Hayward, and then I thought of Ray Allen with the Celtics.
Yeah, I honestly thought there was going to be more. Just for those are obviously some big time dudes, but here, I'll give you one more. This one will be probably not for you, but we'll see. Basketball player, retired in 2018. Spent his entire career with one team.
Oh, Manu Ginobili.
Yes. Man, look at you. A regular old Jersey savant over here.
it is weird how much I know about jerseys. I kind of struggled today with 20, but
Yeah, I'd say you did pretty good. I have a terrible memory, so I would be awful at this game.
I
I would
don't
know
know why.
exactly who you're talking about and probably what teams and stuff they played for, but little details I suck with.
Do
So,
we have a number 20 on the Bucks?
oh, let's see real quick.
I can't think of who that would
Watch that
be.
be Griff.
Yeah. Um,
Griff.
it's not
Um,
AJ Green, is it?
no, Coach Griff was 44 when he played for the Bucks.
Ooh, maybe that's
Um,
our new
Sam Cassell.
select Sam Cassell, yeah.
Oh,
There's not a current one though.
there's an entire on NBA.com. There's an entire list of every Bucks player with every number. So here's all the
Oh,
number
wow.
20s. There's so many guys I don't know. Bob Boozer, Sam Cassell. Wow, these guys must all be super old. Gary Payton, Eric Strickland, I know that one. Rashad Vaughn, Marvin Williams. There you go. There's like
Oh boy.
literally there's probably like 15 names. But so
Is
yeah.
AJ Green on that list? I thought maybe he was number 20.
Nope.
Oh,
Depends on when this
he's
was
not
played.
number 20?
Is
Oh.
he? He's number 20,
I
isn't he?
thought that's the jersey number he wore.
Yeah, I
I,
think so.
I
All right.
thought it was a dub.
I think
Anyways,
yeah, they could have been that list could have been made a while ago. So yeah. NBA news is huge. That's what this entire podcast is going to be centered around today. So sorry, but lots to talk about. So I'd start with the draft, but we got to go further back because
yeah.
there was some massive trades, and it's funny. I texted you and Patrick the other day, the day that Porzingis got traded to the Celtics, and I said, I know it sounds crazy, but God, Porzingis and Giannis would be a fun backcourt or a fun front court.
Front court.
And then like three
Yeah, it
hours
would.
later, he gets traded to Boston. I'm like, God dang it. That's just the worst place he could go for as a Bucks fan. It's a great
Right.
place for him and his career.
We'll see. We'll see.
But yeah, I mean,
So
obviously he's got to stay on the court. I think the loss of Marcus Smart isn't as big of a sting.
well, let's go through the one that fell through first. So
Mm.
originally the Celtics
Mm-hmm.
were getting Porzingis. It was not Marcus Smart moving, it was Malcolm Brogdon going to the Clippers. And then the Wizards were getting like Marcus Morris and filler and some second
Yeah.
round pick. And then the Clippers didn't like what they saw with Brogdon's injuries, which I can't blame them for.
It,
look,
it almost looks
look
like
at
he
their
might not
team.
play this season. So
Yeah, we'll see. Um, so yeah, that got shut down, and then it's like, oh, Porzingis not going to Boston. Woke up the next morning, Porzingis going to Boston.
yep.
Brogdon staying in Boston. Marcus Smart going to the Memphis Grizzlies, and then Tyus Jones, who we all really wanted slash still want as a Buck, is in Washington.
And I
The
think he
Celtics
deserves
also
it.
got two. Celtics also got two draft picks out of that.
Yeah.
It was
Which is
pretty
funny.
crazy.
So they got the 25th pick out of that. And in
Yep.
the draft, and then they traded 35, but
Yeah.
they ended up moving that number 25th pick back to number 34. They traded it back twice.
I was listening to the Simmons podcast when he goes, it was like they're going to a commercial break and they just traded the 25th pick and let me go hang myself. Oh, he's like, we traded for the 25th pick and then traded back down where
So
we were.
basically their pick, one pick behind the pick they had, which is weird.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're playing the board, and I mean, whatever they got, because trading back, you're obviously getting some things. So they must have had a couple dudes on their big board that they were like, okay, I'm sure one of these guys is going to be here in 9 picks, and if we can pick
I
up a
think
couple future seconds or shed some cash or something, like
I
it's
think it was
worth
more or
it.
less a first round pick cost you more money. And they
Right?
have
Yeah,
kind of what the Bucks have,
yeah.
where you're gonna have to fill 10 through 15 with vet minimums and second round picks.
And if you stay
So
under the apron, you're one tax level guy. Well, you can split that tax
Right.
into multiple
Right.
years, but still,
But
that's
I think that's the biggest reason they moved back because you're probably saving $1.5 million
yeah,
trading out of the first round. So
yeah, yeah. That's a good point.
so
So yeah,
who do you think won this trade?
out of all three teams,
Yeah.
I think it's the Celtics.
I think
I
honestly,
like what the Wizards got, but I think the Celtics ultimate, and it's all strictly based on what Porzingis can be for them. But I mean, they got two firsts. I know they moved that one back, but they got a first round pick next year. It's top four protected, which it's the Warriors, so they're gonna get that pick. Um, so I
well,
mean,
the
like,
reason they got that too was because Marcus Smart was on a contract for more
right?
than just this year. He's not an expiring deal, and
Mm-mm.
he's been kind of their glue guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether or not they want, that's why they probably moved him because I think he had too much of a voice.
And
Um,
and I think that was a thing that a lot of people have thought too, is like he has been the glue guy. He's been a loyal Celtic, but it's like, this maybe because he's like he was the leader of this team. He was the vocal leader of this team, and maybe this is
yeah,
ownership and Danny Ainge kind of saying like, okay, Jason Tatum, you're supposed to be a first team All NBA or make this your locker room now, because like, and rightfully so. Marcus Smart was the leader of the locker room, and he probably should have been. But yeah,
well,
I think this is a move like, okay, let's get him out of here before he's 30. We appreciate you, dude, but like, we're gonna bring in a guy who's freaky, and we need bigs and we need shooting. And
yeah,
I know the injury history is there, but they had a logjam at the guard anyways. Even with Brogdon's injury, they still have plenty of guards. And Derek White more than earned a starting role. And I'd say Derek White is a poor man's Marcus Smart who can shoot a little better. So maybe he's not a super poor man's Marcus Smart. So it's like
and so Bill Simmons and his dad and some other guy. I was listening to that podcast as I was grilling
Kevin
tonight.
KOC, Kevin O'Connor probably.
I don't know. It didn't sound like him. I wasn't watching. I was just listening. But so Bill Simmons' dad's he goes to like every game, home
Yeah, he's got
game,
season tickets, I
and
think.
he's like
Yeah.
Marcus Smart checks himself into the game, and Joe Mazzulla will just be like, okay, and he
Right.
goes
Right.
there's timeouts where Marcus Smart talks and doesn't let Joel talk at all.
Yep. Yep.
So I think this is like, hey, Jason, this is your team. You guys are taking over now. We got you another big.
Yep.
I don't love the pick for any or the trade for any of these teams because there's a risk. I mean,
Yeah,
like
but
the
man,
Grizzlies, they just traded one of the best backup point guards in the league for Marcus Smart, who I guess has kind of taken over for Tyus Jones and Dylan Brooks,
I
which
I don't like it for the Grizzlies. I get Marcus Smart is definitely like, if there's any other team from the besides the Celtics that he's a perfect fit, it's the Grizzlies. So I
I
get
agree.
that. I get that. Maybe the Heat. Actually, seeing him in
The
Miami,
Heat.
actually, yeah,
Yeah.
that would be pretty sweet. But the Grizzlies are kind of like the off-brand Miami Heat, or they're Miami Heat wannabes in terms of like we're hard and everything. Regardless,
Well,
he's
they
gonna
kind
be
of
a good
started the
fit,
grit and grind.
right?
This was the so
Yeah, back in the
Tony Allen was a Celtic until he turned 29 years old, played seven
yep,
seasons for
yep,
and then he got traded. So it's the same thing. If he
yep.
can beat Tony
And they're
Allen
like the
there,
same player.
yeah,
Couldn't shoot as a rookie, or couldn't shoot as a younger player, but incredible defensive player on the wing, and just slowly developed a open 3-point shot. Yeah.
yeah.
But
I
yeah, so
I like it for all the teams, but
I like it for all the teams. Don't love it for any of them. But I think
right,
the Celtics, and just the fact that they got two firsts. I mean, honestly, if you would have said the Celtics traded got those two picks just for Marcus Smart, I wouldn't have said like, oh, they got fleeced.
yeah,
Two first round picks for Marcus Smart. I know they're late picks, but I mean, he's 29 years old and overpaid in my eyes,
right.
and they
And
have plenty of depth at that position.
if
So
you look at what how was I going to say that? If you look at what basically Marcus Smart turned into Tyus Jones and two picks.
yeah,
So I don't know. I don't give any team an A, but I also don't give anybody lower than a C plus.
I'd say Celtics B plus, A minus for me anyway. I'd give the Grizzlies a B minus. I'd give the Wizards a B,
I give the
B. Yeah, B.
I think I give them all a B because they're just question marks yet. I got to see what happens first.
Yeah,
Like Porzingis could come in and just not fit at all, or he
I,
gets hurt,
I think
which
he will. I think the fit is fine. Honestly, what I think they should do, and I don't know who it is, but find the poor man's Porzingis in the league, whoever he is, who plays just like him, and go get that guy. And then Kristaps can play like 20 games in the regular season. But this guy can still fit the mold for the team and run the offense the exact same way. So whatever stretch big man you can find that can do similar things to Kristaps, do that and just save that dude for the postseason. And if he gets hurt in the postseason, then yeah, I guess
so
obviously.
Doug is saying the Celtics need to trade for Wemby.
Yeah. Oh, Kristaps
He's a
would
free agent
be
next year.
Wemby.
Maybe they'll both be Spurs next year. That'd be crazy.
That would be nuts. Yeah, that would be wicked.
7'5" and 7'3" in your front court.
Oh my gosh.
Both can shoot and dribble.
Just go sign Boban Marjanovic just for fun.
Yeah, go get all those really Giannis at small forward.
Taco. Go get them all.
Taco.
Have Yao Ming be your coach. So yeah,
Bull Bull.
that was a big trade. But I liked it. I don't like I said, I don't like it as a Bucks fan. Do you think that puts Celtics they're betting favorites first in the East now. Do you agree?
There's a lot of offseason to go. It
Just right
depends on
now.
if the
Right
Bucks
now.
get. I don't know. Do we have Lopez or Middleton? I don't know. Are we running Giannis at the 5?
If
If we're running
we
Giannis at the 5, that's a lot harder
if
series for the
if
Bucks.
we if we run it back,
If we run it back, I think this helps the Bucks over the Celtics because the Celtics could get out and run a little bit before.
okay.
I think this is an equal matchup. And who on the Celtics is stopping Giannis? It's not going to be Porzingis. Horford's 38 now.
Yeah.
They're going to lose Grant Williams probably because of this move. Grant Williams is the other guy that was guard.
Cut. Yep.
I don't, like I said, I don't love it for any of these teams. I don't know how good of a fit this is going to be.
Yeah.
If you break it down, you're losing Marcus Smart and Grant Williams for Porzingis pretty much.
And whoever those rookies they took were. Yeah.
Right. But are they going to come in and
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They won't
postseason presence?
No. But yeah, like you said, maybe a free agent or something would or make another trade.
Right.
So all right.
Right now I think Celtics, Bucks, and Heat should all be at the top of the East.
Yeah.
And no one should be favored right now until the off season's over.
Philly fans would beg to differ that they're not in the top 3, but I don't think so.
Yeah, prove it.
Yep. All right. This trade's bigger, probably, I would say. The Bradley Beal trade happened a day. Yeah, it was. We said this could happen because we recorded on, was it Saturday or Sunday? And then
the next day the trade actually happened?
Yep, because we were like, who knows? By this time tomorrow, it could have been happened already, and that was the case. So the Suns, they trade and they receive in the trade, and that was the thing. So these trade details didn't all come out right away, and so people were like, "Oh my gosh, like what are the Wizards doing?"
Yeah, do you want me to read this off, or do you have it?
I got it up.
Okay,
unless
there's a lot.
Yeah. So the Suns received Bradley Beal, Jordan Goodwin, Isaiah Todd, 2 super young, unproven guys, whatever. Wizards get Chris Paul, which then turned into what did we just learn? Tyus Jones, Danilo Gallinari, Mike Muscala, and a pick. Okay. Yep. They get Landry Shamet, and then they get 6 second-round picks, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and 30. And they get 4 pick swaps, first-round pick swaps, 24, 26, 28, and 30, because you can with that's because the Stipien rule, right?
So
you can't trade multiple first-round picks in a row or 2 years in a row, whatever.
With these pick swaps, I was kind of wondering with this new CBA. So if you go over that number that we were talking about,
can't trade. Is it 7 years? I believe.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm getting at though.
Oh.
The second apron. If you go over that, it doesn't matter if you're the worst team in the league. You're getting the 30th pick if you own your pick, if you go over that.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess the Suns could be like, well, we're gonna have the 30th pick anyway, so
Regardless.
pick swap. That I don't know if they're gonna end up changing that because then teams can kind of
Sure.
mess with it. You know what I mean? Like, well,
Well, they
it's gonna
could
be the 30th pick on a pick swap, so we're not.
maybe they could still, so like, let's say the Suns finish in the standings at 25.
They could
Okay.
keep it. They could
They
keep it if right.
they can keep it just in terms of if, the other team wants to swap, if the Wizards want to swap, because the Wizards got
Yeah,
28 for some godforsaken reason.
right. So
So,
that was
yeah,
just one little thing that
that's a
we'll
good,
see in the
yeah, I never
future
thought
if
about
something
that.
changes there. Bill
Yeah.
Simmons brought that up. We talk about Bill. If
Yeah.
Bill Simmons listened to us, he'd be like, "Man, just come on for one episode. I feel bad.
Oh
You
my
guys mentioned
God.
me every episode."
That'd be amazing. Me and Patrick were watching the draft and talking about Simmons and Rosillo, blah, blah, blah. And we were like, JJ Redick and Jay Bilas did a good job, but it was like Patrick looked at me and goes, God, I miss Bill Simmons on draft night. And I was like, yeah, me too.
He would just keep it real. He'd be like, "I didn't like that pick. That was
Yeah,
horrible."
I'm not so sure on that one, but the Giannis, oh, when Giannis got drafted by him, his reaction was just perfect.
I don't
Patrick
remember. What did he
Patrick
do?
recited like what he said. I can't think of it offhand right now, but Patrick was like said it right off the bat. He knew, and I was like, "Yep, that I remember that now that he brought it up."
I remember one of the guys said he's going to go by Bo, and somebody
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
"Grab
yeah,
Bo, go get the ball,
yep. Go, Bo.
or go get
Yeah,
the balls."
go get the balls, Bo. Yeah, I do
Yeah,
remember that. Yeah, that's funny that you bring that
that
up.
part I do remember.
Yep. Yeah,
Anyways, back to this trade.
yeah.
Um,
So that was the massive haul the Wizards ended up getting that people didn't realize at first because not all the trade details came out. And then again, you turn Chris Paul into Tyus Jones, Gallinari, Muscala, and another pick. I
yeah.
mean, they got a freaking lot for Brad Beal. And I'm not saying like they got high end value back, but they just got a lot of like mid value. Like I think
And
Landry
they're
Shamet's fine. All
well,
those
he's
picks,
also it says he's on a 3-year deal, but he is actually I think it's like a 2-year team option.
team
So he's
option.
technically I think he's technically an expiring, and a lot of money's not guaranteed to him. So
Oh, so
Seamus not on.
this
Yeah,
next season would be the option, you think?
I think so. So Shamit's not as bad of a deal as I thought because originally I'm like, man, he's on a horrible contract, 3 years for like 10 million per.
Sure.
Like that's I'd rather keep Pat Connaughton on that exact contract that he's got.
Uh-huh.
Pat Connaughton's a better player than Landry Shamit. But anyways, yeah, so they basically got a bunch of expirings. They can keep moving these guys too if they really need to, because they don't own their first round pick next year unless it's because it was a lottery protected one. So
Yeah.
they need to be bad,
Yeah.
and they're headed that way with what
Well,
they have on the
and
roster.
so initially before all the details came out, everyone's like, "Oh man, the Wizards got fleeced." And it was like even before even more stuff came out, I didn't think the Wizards I thought they probably lost the trade, but not by much because that dude's contract is just stupid. And
Yeah,
second, he had a no trade clause. And
right.
those are not a hot commodity in the NBA. There's like two guys with him in the whole league.
No, he's the only one.
Is he the only
I
one
think
now?
he's the last one since LeBron signed with the Cavs the second time.
Okay. So like that's a
You
huge deal. He can
you got to look
decide.
at it like this. He pretty much said, "Hey, I'm going to the Suns." So if you look at it like, okay, if Bradley Beal's a free agent, the Suns are signing him for a max deal. Let's sign and trade him for some loose pieces.
Mhm.
That's basically what this was.
Yeah.
So instead of just Bradley Beal leaving in free agency, you got some stuff back that you can go for some home runs here or there.
Yeah. And
And
like
they're off the deal. Like
you can't
that's their
tell me
biggest thing.
you can't tell me out of 6 second round picks that at least one of those won't hit.
Right.
I mean,
And they took
maybe, but 1 out of 6 picks, you're like at least to be a rotation guy.
and
Like I know
this has got to be more exciting to Wizards fans. At least you're not gonna be fighting for the 6th seed again.
exactly. I as a Wizards fan, I would much rather be absolutely awful for the next
Like
few years.
the Bucks were in this at one point, and
Yes, and we couldn't
it's like,
escape it, and it sucks.
hey, we're gonna get the number one pick next year. Let's go get Jabari Parker, Andrew Wiggins,
Mhm.
Joel Embiid. That was an exciting year.
Yes, yes, it was, and then it wasn't so exciting. But
Yeah.
I thought, Jabari and Giannis together, that was supposed to be.
Could you imagine if he stayed healthy and still in the league? He'd be the perfect four-man next to Giannis at the five.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Man,
I know.
reminisce.
I love Jabari so much. Man, that does suck. There's people been saying on Twitter and stuff that the Bucks should look for him as a roster spot, just to
I mean,
round out
why
the
not?
roster. I don't. Has he played in the league the last couple of years?
He's with the Celtics
Oh,
last
really?
year.
Okay. Okay.
I thought he maybe had a tryout. I think like the Lakers or somebody gave him like a 10-day or something like that.
Yeah.
But the guy cannot stay healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably not worth the minimum he's going to get paid.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, love the guy, but so yeah, I think the Suns side of this,
Yeah.
they're damn near already at the first apron with those four guys with Beal, KD, Booker, and Aiton. They're at like 164, I think.
And they have Cameron Payne also on that roster. So they basically have a starting lineup signed right now. That's it. And
Yeah,
because Cameron Payne makes $6.5 million.
they have one.
They're
Don't they
not
have one other guy?
uh
Maybe not.
maybe. I don't think
But
so.
yeah,
No.
they got like either five or six players, and they're damn near at the first apron already.
Yeah. Um they gotta make another move.
Yeah,
Otherwise you're running out basically the bench you had last year with
and
maybe a couple more guys that want to come play with Kevin Durant and Booker. But I don't know. Um
I just don't see why you think you need to hang on to DeAndre Ayton if you're the Suns. Like I
I don't
told
think
you, they like the Hawks have been dying to get rid of either John Collins or Clint Capella. Those guys are both cheaper and would give
yeah.
John Collins wouldn't give you the same, but Clint Capella would damn near give you the same. I know Aiton can hit some mid-rangers here and there, and he's just a big solid dude, but like even getting a poor man's version of him, I've said that like 20 times already on this.
The problem is though he wants the ball and you just
Yeah.
traded for a guy that is going to take more touches away from him.
That you have Booker, Beal, and Kevin Durant on your team. You're not getting the ball unless you get an offensive rebound, and that's just the
Yeah.
reality. Like,
So
sorry,
you need
if I was him,
to
I would want out. I mean, maybe not because they're probably going to be a really good title threat if they can stay healthy and find some bench. But
yeah.
I wouldn't be that upset if I got traded if I were him, at least to a decent team. And I think there's teams that would take him. Hell, even
Go trade him to the Celtics for Robert Williams and Horford. It's at least two bigs that don't need the ball on offense.
you know what I was thinking too, a team that I think should try to at least be something this year, and that has a buttload of cap space and just drafted one of the greatest prospects we've ever seen.
The Spurs, yeah.
Can you imagine Wemby and DeAndre Ayton?
What do you give up? Either Vassell or Johnson, and
Picks.
then picks. I don't think they want picks right now, though. They need guys on their bench. A
Yeah.
couple guys you drafted. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I think they could make something work. But like that's what I mean. Like I could see something like that happening for Ayton. But
They need to find a team that wants a young center
mm-hmm.
that has another center that is startable and can defend the paint.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe another, like I mentioned the Nets. I talked all week about the Nets and how they could just have the most amazing offseason if they really struck gold with like Dame and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But they have Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, and then they have a bunch of like Dorian Finney-Smith and Royce O'Neal. Like go get a couple of those guys that they're not going to play as much that
Yeah.
strictly rely on defense. And what did the Nets not have last year? Why did they lose to the Sixers so easily? Because they didn't have a big.
Yeah.
Like Nick Claxton's fine, but
Yeah,
he's
he's a
looks
skinny shot
small.
blocker. Yeah, yeah.
He's a
But
great backup.
Nick Claxton as the Sun starting five would probably be okay.
Right. Another team like the Cavs. The Cavs don't want Mobley and Allen. Allen looked like crap in the playoffs. Go get Jared Allen, who's cheaper.
Yeah.
Get Jetty Osman and like Dean Wade for DeAndre Ayton.
Right. Yeah,
You're not going to find the most perfect trade, but you need to fill out your roster to at least 8 guys you can play.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think he's a great fit for the team. It's just like financially, and that's the thing. Like, I don't understand. And like when he got that contract from Phoenix, like it's great you pay your guys. He was the number one pick. I get it. But it's like I don't understand how this day and age an NBA team can justify giving big money to a big guy who can't shoot. Like that's just unless you are just like unless you're Giannis level, like
I was gonna say you just described Giannis.
but that's different. And that's different.
Yeah,
But like
DeAndre can't get out and run and
space the floor, or not space floor, like run the floor,
pass.
run point, pass, dunk it down your throat,
Yeah.
finish at insane angles. Like I'm not making that argument right now. But like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many guys who are just as good as DeAndre Ayton who make significantly less in this league, or at least not far off from his skill level that make significantly less.
Yeah. But it's the same argument for Beal signing back with the Wizards. At least now you can trade him for something.
Yeah.
You gave him the money, sure, but if you didn't give him that money right now, you'd have Beal, Booker, Kevin Durant, and that's it. You wouldn't
You're
have
paying,
a tradable big.
what's he making? Like 32?
Yeah, it's like 32 and a half or something
So
like
you
that.
split that in three.
Right.
You can find three pretty good $10 million guys, or even like I said, even a
go
$20 million guy and 210, like you or
go
two,
go check with
whatever.
the Pacers. Go check with the Pacers. Do they
I thought
want
of
him still?
Turner. Yeah, even if they got Jalen Smith to be their five, like they,
Get him back?
I don't know
No,
why I'm trying to help the Suns. I hope they just stay where they're at and then have Jabari Parker on their bench because they can't find anyone else to play there because they can't pay anyone. But
yeah, it
I thought it was a dumb trade for him. I really did. I think the Wizards win this trade strictly for getting off of Beal's contract.
I don't necessarily think the Suns lose yet. They went all in with getting Kevin Durant last year, so this is another trade day kind of. I didn't want them to do the Suns Kevin Durant trade with the Nets last year. I thought
Right.
that was a dumb move.
And did
So
we that's what we said when we were texting. I think you don't do this Kevin Durant trade, but you do this Beal trade instead. I probably like that roster better because you still have Bridges, you still have
Cam Johnson,
like, and those picks.
yeah,
Who knows what you would have done in the draft this year?
yeah, or not
And maybe you
even
would have kept Chris
necessarily,
Paul.
maybe not even necessarily Beal, but you could be in the Dame Lillard sweepstakes right now. You'd
Yeah,
have all those picks and then trade Ayton for him.
right. Or even if
Bring
you
back,
kept Dayton and just use a bunch of picks for Dame, like anything.
yeah, Dame Lillard, Devin Booker, Mikal
Yeah,
Bridges, Cam Johnson is a good 1 through 4 right
yeah,
there.
yep. But
You could have sent Chris Paul to the Blazers or a third team in that deal. Yeah, I think they screwed up. I said it from day one. They screwed up getting Kevin Durant, mainly
I
because I believe so much in Mikal Bridges and Cam
yeah,
Johnson to a certain extent. But
I still don't think they screwed up getting Durant. I
well,
think both of
they
these
got 2 years now. They
yeah.
have 2 years to win a championship.
And they did like a 20 game sample with Booker and Durant. So it's like
Yeah,
I don't hate either trade on its own. I hate them both together.
yeah.
So, which is kind of
And
weird.
you know what's going to happen if this doesn't work? Devin Booker's going to want out because you're not going to be able to trade Beal because he's got a no trade, and Kevin Durant's going to be old and not bring you back as much. So you're going to end up having to trade Devin Booker in 3 years if this does not work out.
Right.
So good luck, Suns. You got 2 years to win it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. We yeah, let's jump into this last one quick. We can make it work. So then
Yeah.
leading into Chris Paul getting traded to the freaking Golden State Warriors.
Yeah. So the Wizards shipped Chris Paul days after getting him to Golden State for Jordan Poole, the second round pick, and a highly protected first round pick. I think it's top 20 protected. So it'll
In
pretty much be Jordan.
2030.
Right.
So it's a while.
So
Yeah.
that'll probably end up conveying into second round picks, I would imagine. But
yeah. I think again, I think Wizards win this trade strictly because they got rid of a 38-year-old And I don't care when that first round pick is, you got rid of a 38-year-old and got a first round pick out of it and a young player. I think he's vastly overpaid, but
I, I'm on the opposite end here.
really,
You want to lose next year, and you just brought in Jordan Poole, who can win you a couple games.
yeah,
And
a
I'm
couple
not a big
games.
Jordan Poole fan, and I guess you're not building anything major right now. Like Jordan Poole, probably not the future of the Washington Wizards.
No, and I don't think so either. That's why I think it's an all right trade. I think he could be, and I think he could at least play good enough to make himself a decent trade asset.
Yeah, I guess.
This team is going to be like a tryout team, basically, is like,
Yeah.
we'll take on your bad contracts and give us a young guy in return and see if he turns into something. And if he doesn't, oh well.
On the Warriors side, I think it can work. I don't know what the hell the starting lineup is going to be. Are you going to start Chris Paul, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, and Draymond Green and lose every jump ball? And then
Right.
I don't know, 5 minutes in, sit down Chris Paul and bring in Looney, maybe, or just Chris Paul coming off the bench as the Sean Livingston role. Just he's too good to be a backup point guard in the league right now,
Yeah.
and he gets paid too much to be a backup.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think
I think the fit will be fine. I know the rest of the league is going big, and the Warriors seem to be going even smaller, but
yeah.
they're not done yet either. All they need is go out sign one big man that can protect the rim
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
play some pick and roll with Chris Paul and the bench unit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Chris Paul is going to play a lot of the bench unit, and I think he can make it work. I know everybody was saying, well, he ain't a running gun and come off screens. No, just put him in the Draymond role. He's the passer in the whole thing. And I mean, he can set screens. He doesn't need to be the guy coming off the wing. He
Mhm.
can probably, but
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
going to be a good fit. I think Steph is going to score a lot more points having Chris Paul there.
Yeah. I mean, at first you would be like, you would think the exact opposite. But yeah, the pick and roll game and yeah, Steph coming off screen and getting jumpers. That does sound amazing.
Right.
Haven't seen anything like that since like Sean Livingston played there.
Just imagine it now, Chris Paul dribbling on top of the key, and then Klay Thompson on one side and Steph Curry on the other coming off screens. Like the greatest point guard, one of the greatest passing point guards in league history, and the two greatest shooters coming off screens. It's gonna
Right.
work.
Yeah, yeah. My first thoughts were just like he's so ball dominant and Steph is so ball dominant, but Steph doesn't have to be ball dominant. If we just it's just you've never seen it
And
differently.
Chris doesn't either. I mean, look at when he was with Harden. That team almost beat the Durant Warriors.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's bring Patrick on. I think Patrick wants to jump in here now. So let's get his
Okay.
opinion on these trades quick and then we'll go from there. And here is the Mr. Patrick Ralph joining us. Welcome, Patrick.
Ryan Russillo?
Patrick.
Oh
no, wait.
That's all right. We'll have you better late than never.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah. You're pretty much
Thanks
going
for
to be on
coming on.
time we talk basketball. So,
And there's a lot of
we can't pay
basketball.
you. So I apologize for that.
No, this is work. I tell my wife I read articles and I watch for
This
work
is all
now.
for work. Yeah. I mean, no school in the summer. This is your new job. Sounds good. So we were just kind of talking about the CP3 trade for Jordan Poole. Didn't do it. We kind of did a pretty good deep dive in the Beal trade and the Porzingis trade, but real quick on the Chris Paul Jordan Poole trade, what were your initial thoughts?
Yeah, well, I don't even did was there anything else added in that deal?
They got a second next year or something, and then a 2030 first. That's super protected.
Washington did.
Yep.
Yeah, so it'll probably end up being just a bunch of second round picks.
By that time, who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Washington, they're like overall winners when we all thought they were getting fleeced. Overall, they're coming out pretty good.
Yeah, it's kind of what we were saying. Because not all the, at least with the Beal trade, not all the details came out right away, and people were like, "Oh boy!" And then it's like, "Holy crap! 6 seconds and 5 or 4 first pick swaps." Like,
That's a transgression, by the way, Doug. You can't swear like that. But
sorry. Jeez.
The rumor was that the
Better than this.
Heat offered 2 first-round picks.
Oh, really?
And Beal said, no, I want to go to Phoenix. I don't know how true that is, but if that's true, that sucks for Washington.
yeah, that does. And also,
it would have been like Kyle Lowry and Jovic, and then 2 second-round picks, and then maybe one other filler because they wanted to keep Tyler Hero.
Yeah, I was saying because they said they weren't getting rid of Hero, which it's like, okay, but whatever.
Yeah, but I guess Paul ended up. He probably is a better asset than getting Lowry, Jovic. I don't know.
Chris Paul's definitely a better asset. Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, though, I like it for the Warriors. I know we talked about this on the group chat, but I think he'll be. I really think he's going to fit there.
Well, one thing I didn't mention too when me and Doug were talking about it, when Steph Curry was not on the court last year, and those are kind of the Jordan Poole at point guard or Dante DiVincenzo, the Warriors were horrible.
Yeah.
So at least Chris Paul can just at least maintain the second unit if that's what he's going to be doing most of the time.
They really should limit his minutes.
Just Totally
this is the perfect.
There's no reason
fourth quarter. Just barely get on the court in the first half, and then start to really get warm in the third, and just have him ready, hot and loaded for the fourth. Like
this is what Chris Paul's needed. A team
hot and loaded,
just a team that can just save him for the playoffs.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, at 38 years old, the way he plays, he'll be fine. He's kind of like Jokic in a sense. It's like his style of play is ageless.
Yeah,
it's timeless. So he'll be.
He just can't stay healthy when it comes to playoffs. So
right. Yeah, I mean,
I thought another big benefit was when and this would happen. I felt in this year's playoffs, if Draymond would get into foul trouble, all of a sudden they didn't have basically their point.
Yeah,
and Steph would have to initiate, and it seemed to mess him up a little bit too. And now I don't know if they'll even have Draymond for one, but
yeah,
I don't think they make this move without bringing Draymond back. That's just dumb, if you ask me.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Unless you have a sign and trade set up for a center. Yeah, but I don't know who's trading for Draymond Green.
Yeah, I don't know if that dude exists on another team.
Yeah, it's
like
the guys on Lockdown Bucks. The guys on Lockdown Bucks keep talking about, I can't see Brook Lopez in any other jersey. First of all, he's been in 2 other jerseys. Second of all, Draymond Green would fit that way more. Like, he's a warrior.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But I kind of agree a little bit with that. But regardless, we're talking about Draymond.
I do feel like Brooks getting a lot of the attention, though.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. I think we'll save that.
We got a whole second half.
We got time. Yeah. But yeah, so in a vacuum, I think the Chris Paul trade can work. Initially, I was like, ooh, I don't like that fit. But as I got to thinking more about it and how I was telling Bryce too, Patrick, like it's been practically since like the Chris Livingston days, or Chris Livingston.
Oh boy.
Newest buck. Sean Livingston days of like having another guy who can be the ball dominant guard where Steph can play off ball. And just like come around screens and catch and shoot and not have to worry about being the initiator is going to be fun to see. I will say that.
What I told Doug, the scariest thing, Chris Paul at the top of the key, one of the best point guards in NBA history, and the 2 greatest shooters in NBA history coming off of screens. That's scary.
Yeah.
I don't care who else the rest of the guys are. There's
a lot of weird pushback about Paul being like a pick and roll point guard. But that was really just Phoenix. And before that, he was in weird situations in Houston, and Oklahoma. Yeah. So I think he's pretty adaptable. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, I do too. But we'll see. Everybody's he's back. Ran away.
I had to shut the door.
Bryce, when you run away, it looks like you're running into the nosebleed section.
Yes.
Oh, that is nice. Next time I'll try to go up I'll go up the stairs next time.
Patrick, we got a lot of draft stuff to talk. Do you want to give a quick grade to the Porzingis and Beal trades, or?
No, if you guys want me to. Porzingis, Beal. Oh, right, those 2. That was not one trade. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just came through. Celtics landed Beal. Porzingis is going to Phoenix.
Yeah.
You missed that?
Yeah. Did another one fall through? I like Porzingis for Boston. I do think the contract will make a difference if they choose to extend him. I think that would be a bad deal, but they were talking about it right away with when the initial trade to the Clippers was happening. So I don't know why they wouldn't give him an extension now, but I don't think they should.
Yeah.
Smart. I think Smart will be good. I do think there's a little bit of an X factor. I think he'll probably be really ticked off and have a good season. I don't know how good he'll be in 2 or 3 years, but I think next year he'll be pretty good.
Yeah.
And Beal to the Suns, I think that I would just be really interested to see what they do with the rest of their team.
Yep. That's what we were saying.
Yep.
And
they got to trade Ayton.
They have to. They keep talking about how Ishbia doesn't care and they're going to go over the apron. But then every time I relook at these rules, like how
you're
you can't
screwed, man.
Yeah, and how their draft picks would go to the last. Your automatic first round pick would go last. I'm like, oh.
I mentioned that.
Yeah.
Even going over the apron, it's not like you can give everybody 10 million, 20 million, 30 million dollars and just keep going over the apron. I mean, you're limited to what you can give other guys now.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you keep 8.
I've can come around. I thought I was one of the people who thought I don't know how the backcourt was going to work. I've come around to that. I'm sure they're going to score 1,000,000 points.
Yes.
Just look at when Phoenix was bad and when Washington was bad. Those two ran the point.
Yeah.
The entire time. So.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be an issue.
They're not your traditional backcourt point with a point guard, but look at the Celtics. They didn't have a point guard.
Yeah.
Marcus Smart is not your point guard.
And actually, everyone said that too. Everyone kept saying they need a point guard. So they went out and got Kemba and stuff like that.
Right. And Kyrie, and it never worked. Yeah.
Right.
Terry Rozier's been their best true point guard in how long?
Scary Terry.
Scary Terry, baby.
We better get going to the draft here. That's a lot of talk on 3 trades.
They were big trades, though. And
they were. There's going to be a lot more to come, I would imagine.
I am going to definitely cut us off to reserve some time to talk Bucks. We got 30 minutes left. Let's spend about 10 here on the draft.
Do we need to go on Wemby much? I mean,
the dude's going to be amazing.
He's a bust.
Spurs. I'm one of those people that thinks the Spurs should try to do something this year and show like what their team can be with him. Like if they can be a playoff team with him immediately, they're going to get some free agents like ASAP.
I think they should overspend for like a Fred VanVleet and like a Brook Lopez type.
I would like to see him go get Austin Reeves, but
they should just give him here's $100 million.
Yeah,
go ahead, Lakers match it.
Just to take him away from the Lakers, or at least to make the Lakers pay up.
Yeah. It's just smart. That's what every bad team should do. Screw the future of good teams, so your timeline hurries up, and then when you're there, but
and push comes to shove, like you just got a pretty young, promising guard, maybe slight overpay, but the CBA is going up, and you got the money for it, and you could keep him. So, I would offer him a bag. I'd give him 3 years, 100 million, just to try it. Why not?
Yeah,
but whatever.
Number 2, the Hornets took Brandon Miller. Not what I would have done. Do I think he's going to be a bust? No. Is he going to be the Josh Jackson of that Jason Tatum draft? No. I don't believe so because he at least has a jumper. But is he going to be?
He's got a damn good jumper, dude.
Is he going to be as good as like the greatest of all time, Paul George?
Yeah. That was his weird comments are like the only reason I was like, you know what? No, scoot it too. But I think it was the right pick. I will say
that's just his favorite player.
With the whole that, and apparently MJ was talking smack to him at his workout in Charlotte.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And apparently, I don't know if MJ was shooting hoops or something, but he said he witnessed MJ airball a free throw, and he said he couldn't pick him as the GOAT after seeing that.
Oh boy.
I'm not a huge MJ fan, so I was like, whatever, dude, you do you.
But I think his high potential, oddly enough, is a Paul George, but I think that's like high end.
I said that exact thing to Doug when we were watching his highlights during the draft.
I think his floor though is pretty low compared to Scoot. I think Scoot's at least going to be quality starting point guard. Sure, maybe he can't shoot great, but
because his floor could be Josh Jackson.
Scoot, you're saying? Or
Scoot?
No, or Miller's Scoot.
I don't think so.
Miller's
I think
floor.
he's too good. I think he's too good of a shooter. I think he's already too good of a shooter. Josh Jackson, like he was like me shooting left-handed. It was bad.
I can't think of another example at a forward that got picked higher. Now that was a bust, but
yeah,
I was thinking about if there's no Wemby, who goes first?
Scoot has to.
Then he should have been picked.
No, because because I think Scoot and Miller were so close that because they were definitely in the same tier. It's like Wemby tier 1, those two tier 2, Thompson brothers and whoever else tier 3. But like it came down to fit, and I know like you can't.
It's a lottery.
I get it, but like you already have LaMelo on that team. You don't need another ball dominant guard.
We don't even know if LaMelo is going to work out though.
Yeah, but he's probably going to. And
I wouldn't say that.
Oh,
I think Scoot is a guaranteed at least third best in the class, in this draft class. Okay. I know he easily could be worse than Andre Jackson Jr. or
I don't know. I don't get Livingston. Don't mistake this. Don't hear what I'm not saying. Don't mistake this for me not liking Scoot because I freaking love Scoot. I just think they're close enough that you take fit in that situation if you're Charlotte. And I think he's a great fit. He gives me like prime Rashard Lewis vibes, which I don't know. I like that a lot. But like
I think he'll be a fine player, but I think he was easily the number 3 pick.
Hey, prime Rashard was a dog, man.
You know what probably won't be a good fit? Scoot and the Blazers with Damian Lillard.
He's wearing I just saw it tonight. He's wearing 00.
You don't think I know that? I'm the Jersey guy.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, all I know is Dame's got welcome to Miami on his Instagram, and it means nothing.
That's what thank you. I thought, did you hear about that, Bryce?
No, because he's not going to end up in Miami anyways. He's going to Brooklyn.
Was he at his house or something? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, he's on an Instagram live.
Yeah, just a video of him like hanging out, listening to music. But the song he was listening to was "Miami" by Will Smith, and people are like, "Oh, I bet he did it on purpose." But just with people,
100%.
Like
he did that.
Why not?
Right after Portland says they want to keep him, as if that I just can't believe that's their plan. But then, of course, he's going to have that on Instagram. And then when people ask him, does it mean anything? Oh, no, it means nothing. And I want to stay in Portland, too, by the way.
Mm-hmm. The writing's on the wall. They drafted your replacement. They don't want to be the guys that say, hey, we're moving on from you, because they don't want to be in the Wizards spot right now.
That's what this seems like. It seems like neither of them want to. Like, Dame doesn't want to be hated. He said pretty much as much in some interview that I read. I wish I could reference it. That'd be the journalistic thing to do. But he said basically that he doesn't want to be in this era of player empowerment. He's wary that he'll be hated on for asking out.
Right. They're basically a very religious married couple that just want to get divorced but don't want to be hated by their family.
Oh man,
I just thought of that. That's what it feels like, though. Like, yeah, neither one of you want each other. Just
we got to do this for the kids.
Yeah, it's okay. Just go. They're gonna be fine.
Yeah,
really though. I think they'll end up
great.
I think they'll end up trading them at the trade deadline at the latest. But there's no way they finish next year with Damian Lillard on the team.
Yeah.
Hopefully that means he'll be a Buck. I know that's not happening. Just wishful thinking.
Yeah.
Let's move on. So we'll see with Scoot and Miller. I mean, either way, I think they're both gonna be really good players. So
who would you want, Doug?
It depends on who I am, honestly.
No.
You're the Bucks Scoot right now.
Yeah. I like Scoot. Oh, the Bucks?
Oh, right I'm sorry. Yeah, sure.
Well, if I'm the Bucks, it's Scoot 100%. But It's different. They're so close, but when you're so close and you're splitting hairs, you take fit. If it's not that close, then you just take the better player. But I think it's.
But Miller would fit the Bucks actually.
Bucks need
He
shooting.
He would for sure.
That's the only problem we had. That's the only problem we had with the Bucks draft.
But I rest my case. That proves that Scoot would be better.
You can't tell me
he gets you going. Like you look at him and you're like, I want that guy.
I don't know. You can't tell me Scoot couldn't turn into Drew. No way. Like that, just to replace Drew basically is why.
There's a part of me if I had the number 1 pick, if it was me as the GM, I'd trade a shit ton to go down to number 2 and draft Scoot.
Oh my gosh, no.
You know how much you could get for the number 1 pick and then also have Scoot Henderson, who could easily be a Hall of Famer?
It's hard though, Bryce, because there's no salary.
It's an interesting thought experiment.
It's a pick, not a person. So
especially considering Wemby
from that. Yes, but let's move on from that.
Yeah. Cam Whitmore slides to number 20.
Yeah, supposedly bad workouts, bad interviews, but hey, Rockets, lost the lottery, but then end up with Amen Thompson and Cam Whitmore.
Yeah, we were arguing over who was going to go 4 there, and then Whitmore or Thompson, and they get both.
Right. So, I mean, even if they already got Kevin Porter on their team, so might as well load up with awesome, strong locker room morale.
Yeah. The Thompson twins, they made history going 4 and 5.
That's cool.
That situation, I think it's going to be a Markieff and Marcus type thing, where Markieff was the higher prospect, but Marcus probably had the better career.
It all comes down to where they go, and
that's why I think Detroit's a better fit for either one of the Thompson twins. I think they're a more ready now team with a better coach and not just I know they're a really young team, but at least I think they have some. I just believe in Detroit more than Houston.
I do too. So I do too. That's not crazy to say. Yep.
So
yeah. So real quick, and you guys can agree, not agree. Just do a couple minutes here. Winners and losers of the draft. I put winners. I put Spurs because for obvious reasons. I agree. The Wizards, if you include like the swapping of the trading of the picks and all that stuff, I think for giving up Porzingis and Beal, what they brought back, including shedding all that salary, and then they had a couple good picks. Like, I think good for the Wizards. And then the Mavs. I thought the Mavs made some good calls too. They got off of that dot. They had the 10th pick, traded Davis Bertans, shedded his big salary, only moved back 2 spots, and still got Derek Lively, who's
Lively. That's the kid. That's the guy from Duke, right?
Yeah.
I don't love it for the Mavs.
Really? I think he could be a
Kyrie and
starting center like right away.
Yes, but they need him. They better right away because you have Luka and Kyrie. Then you're kind of on a timeline there. Like you're going to have a rookie starting center with those 2 guards. And then Rashawn Holmes.
I think you could. I think he could though, Bryce. That's the thing. Like he's not going to stretch the floor or nothing. He's just kind of a rim runner, big man who can play really good D.
Time will tell. They said he's supposed to be the next Tyson Chandler for the Mavs, which whatever. But they also got back their Dwight Powell. That's what Rashawn Holmes basically is on $12 million. I think I'd rather have had Bertans, who can at least shoot. I know he's overpaid, but so is Rashawn Holmes.
Yeah.
Rashawn Holmes can't shoot and he can't protect the paint.
Yeah, I know. He's just
Bertans can stretch the floor. I don't love it for the Mavs.
He's overpaid,
honestly.
He was over. They shed that salary though.
Big winner for me, I think, was the Jazz. They got Taylor Hendricks and they got Keontae George.
Yes. Yeah, I did like both of those picks quite a bit. Yep. And they're shopping Colin Sexton, so those guys will get some more minutes.
I would keep Colin Sexton, honestly, but whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like what the Hornets did. They got Brandon Miller, who when I would have taken Scoot, which puts Blazers for me in the winner column. But then they also drafted Nick Smith Jr., who is a very talented guy, but I watched a lot of his college ball, and he sat a lot because he was just not ready, like in college.
Yeah.
Like he was immature, and he sat behind Anthony Black and all the.
You know who looked really good against him when they played each other?
Oh, yeah.
Omari Moore.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
The newest.
A new buck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put for losers, I put a question mark, the Thunder, simply because like, are you really just gonna keep all these picks and take all these guys who are like athletic ball handlers and just
what'd you want them to do though?
I, I don't know, package some picks and go get a guy. You
Who,
got
who'd you want to go get?
I'm not saying I have a specific example, but like you have SGA
When
now.
when the guy is there that will be right, which may be the trade deadline this year, then they do it. There was
Yeah,
nobody out there that would have pushed you
yeah.
over the edge to
I'm just
go all in.
I know, and that's why I put a question mark. Like I don't think they did anything bad. I just think like, okay, when is it time to pull the trigger?
I would agree. They competed last year. There's no reason why they shouldn't. They're probably going to be pretty good this year.
Yeah.
Plus,
like
they'll have a
even
bunch of assets to get someone if they want.
even free agent wise, I wouldn't go out and give Chris Middleton a max contract if I was them or
No.
like
I'm not saying free. I'm not saying free agent. I meant like a trade, like package some picks and go for a trade.
Right. I know. I was kind of putting it like both though. There was nobody out there in trade. There's nobody out there in free agency. Pick guys you want that might be a home run. If they're not, whatever. You got all these other picks. Wait for the guy that you know in the NBA that is on the trade deadline, fits your timeline. Let's go get him.
Yeah, I suppose.
Who that is, I don't know. Like maybe Karl Anthony Towns.
As long as they can, long as they can be in the playoff push at the deadline. Like if they're like looking like a guaranteed playoff team at the deadline, then yeah.
Right.
So
this also gives your this also gives your young guys that were kind of coming along last year, give them another half a year and then get a guy. I don't hate it.
Yeah, I don't hate it. It was just that's why I wanted to bring. I put the question mark because I wanted to get your opinion on it.
Yeah, they got a 3-0 count and they can sit on their pitch.
There you go.
But I like the Towns thought there.
That was just a random guy that maybe is going to be traded here. Go out get John Collins if you want.
There you go.
He'd probably too.
I don't know if
there's a few guys
chat together. That kind of seems like a weird fit.
Maybe a trade chat.
I'd be cool with that. I'm not a chat guy, but
well, Chet hasn't played.
Right. And he's got a glass foot, so we'll see. Let's be honest. Patrick, I put this up here because we're going to talk about the Bucks now, and we have a Giannis hater on the podcast.
Do the listeners know what's that?
What my picture is?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's Giannis holding his MVP.
Okay. I'm trying to get better at doing stuff like that.
Yeah, I know. Me too. Yep. Because I don't know if this is going to end up on YouTube. Probably not. So a picture of Giannis and his MVP trophy, but yeah, a lot of Bucks slander coming from my co-host here lately. So,
well, his best friend has a glass knee, so.
This is not related to the Bucks, but I just saw this report. We don't need to talk about it, but it's just funny to laugh at. Apparently, the 76ers wanted a package of Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley, and a draft pick for Tobias Harris. Which is just funny.
People can't see all of our faces horrified.
Yeah. So
the Sixers offered that to the
No,
they wanted it.
They wanted that. They tried to offer that to the Cavs. Tobias Harris for Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley, and a pick.
Why would the Sixers even want that though?
No one.
You have Embiid. I get it, like, yeah, you bring in the talent, but why would they want
that? You would obviously flip Jarrett Allen, but I mean Embiid and Evan Mobley, that'd be pretty
so they're just telling them to back off, pretty much.
Right.
Like,
all right, we got to go to the Bucks here. We're talking about the Sixers right now. What are we doing?
Yeah.
So we drafted Andre. We traded in early second, which was what we were rumored to do. Andre Jackson Jr., national champ Andre Jackson Jr. averaged like damn near 7, 7, and 7. Those weren't the numbers, but like pretty much just like he's a transition guy, pretty good passer, pretty good defender. High motor,
looking jumper.
Bad looking jumper. So then
Lonzo Ball.
And I don't hate that comp. I don't hate that comp. I know he's not as good of a passer as Lonzo or a ball handler, but like he plays that kind of style. So I get it. Then we draft that not Sean Livingston. Chris Livingston. Played at Kentucky. To me, I know it's the last pick in the draft, but I'm not crazy about it. And then
he has a very ready now body, so I think he can at least get some minutes.
Boy, I don't know. I looked at some highlights and some film of him, and even the highlights are supposed to be what makes you look amazing. And the highlights, I was like, oh, like a lot of transition stuff where he's just throwing it up at the rim with a hand in the face and it just goes in. And because it's the highlight, you're showing the buckets he made, and even the buckets he was making in transition. I was like, God, you're not going to do that.
At least his jumper,
at least
his jumper's not broken. I don't hate his jumper. It doesn't look ugly, but again, it's the last pick in the draft.
Right. But that leading into the next guy, that's Amari Moore, looks really good. I'm curious why he didn't get drafted. Honestly, there were guys, and I know you just hear, well, we had him ranked here, whatever, but there were guys that had him ranked in like around the turn of the first, second round.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Andre Jackson, I know people had ranked in the low 20s, but he's got some injury concerns. So I don't know about Amari Moore, but Amari, yeah, no kidding. Amari Moore, like you said with Nick Smith, like he looked really good in their game, the game they played each other this year. Really good, looked way better. And he and Andre Jackson both kind of look like guys that can do like everything but shoot pretty damn well. So it's funny because as the Bucks fans, we want shooters, but like maybe that's not what Adrian Griffin wants.
Well, there's also an off season to go to where you can get your shooters.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
You got to
currently my first panic on Griffin is all the stuff coming out saying he wants to run just like the teams in Toronto. He wants athletic running teams. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, they couldn't shoot either.
Yeah.
That's the one thing we need. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know.
If Chris and Brooke can shoot.
Yeah, like Bryce said, there's still time. There's still time.
That probably should lead us into Brooke Lopez. If we're going to get out and run, Brooke Lopez is not that guy. So it makes me wonder if Giannis is going to be our center.
Yeah. It does look like we're going to get out and run.
I'm almost talking myself out of Brooke Lopez coming back. Like,
yeah,
I almost want to package him to a good team that wants him for $20 million a year for the next 3 years and get back a Tim Hardaway Jr. that can shoot and a young guy, or package him back to the Nets for a young, is it Day'Ron Sharpe and Joe Harris? I don't care if he's gone. Let's get something for him.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, if we do,
Chris is probably back. That's probably a 90% chance thing of happening. Right now, I think Brooke is like 55% yes coming back, but every day I think it is slowly less.
It does, yeah. And reports, and all reports are that it could be a legit possibility. And yeah, like these draft picks point to a run and gun style of play, and it's not Brooks' game anymore. Never was.
No.
Yeah, that would be a hard departure, but yeah,
I don't see him going to Houston. Does he want to finish his career just being
right? He's never gotten like the huge bag, so maybe if they offer him a lot, but what is their incentive to offer Brooke Lopez a massive contract? What are they going to do?
I don't think it would be a long-term thing.
Yeah, so like, what's the motivation behind that? You're not even in the same conference. Like, it's not like you're taking that away.
I think he's better off if the Bucks are pretty much moving on. I think he's the type of guy that would kind of help us with a sign and trade. I think he'd go to a good team, like I said, like the Hawks or the Nets or the Lakers or the Mavs.
Yeah, even though I think they like their pick, but
sure, but I think and they just got Rashawn Holmes, so Mavs probably not anymore.
Stacked at the center position.
Yeah, probably not the Mavs, but again,
that was a joke because none of those guys are proven.
Right, but are you going to add another guy at a lot of money?
Yeah, probably
at that position.
Don't sleep on.
Go to Sacramento. They need
that. I heard that today.
But I'm scared of that because they don't need a sign and trade. And they could just outright sign him.
And Sabonis never looked that great playing the 4.
Well, Brooke could be the backup.
Exactly. He doesn't even have to play full. Like, he can actually play 20 minutes and probably extend his career a year or two.
Kind of a Chris Paul Warriors thing.
Yeah.
I would pay if I'm the Kings. I would pay him that because that's what lost you the series against Golden State.
Exactly.
You didn't have a big that could protect the rim in your bench. You definitely didn't have anybody behind Sabonis. So
when Sabonis wasn't hitting it, I mean, Sabonis. The thing about him is even when he wasn't making shots, he was still initiating the offense, which was really nice.
Yeah.
But all those Alex Len minutes they would have been plus whatever if Brooke was in there instead.
For sure.
Who I would like to be a Buck as our fourth or fifth big man.
Yeah, I've always liked Alex Len.
7-1.
We just got a couple minutes here before we got to wrap it up. And we're gonna wrap up on time this time.
Yep.
I saw he's one. It's biased because he's one of my favorite players of all time, but Derrick Rose, team option declined. He's a free agent.
Oh, is he?
Vet minimum for the Bucks. Small deal for the Bucks.
Just what we need, another injury-prone non-shooter.
Okay. I knew what the answer was going to be. My heart would love it, but...
Of course, George Hill got floated around.
I know. Oh, I wanted to vomit when I saw that.
But I would take Hill over Derrick Rose.
So would I.
I think.
If you love Derrick Rose, Doug, you were rooting for him to go back to Chicago.
There you go for nothing. I don't think he wants to go back. Maybe he does. I don't know.
He wants to play with Vooch.
Are they buds or what?
No, I'm just messing around.
We forgot to mention the most important undrafted free agent signing the Bucks made.
Drew Timme, baby.
National champ Drew Timme.
When it comes to veteran unsigned big men though, or undrafted big men, Drew Timme was like the third one I would have wanted. I would have wanted what the hell, Adama Sanoga or whatever from UConn. I think he dominated in college. Yeah. Or who's the guy from Kentucky? Shoot, forgot his name, but he also went undrafted. I think both of them. One of them signed with the Bulls, and the other one signed with the Pacers. I think one of them would have had a better chance of making the Bucks roster, and they can run, which is what we're looking for.
I don't think Drew Timme has a shot in the dark, but maybe to get a two-way for the Bucks. But
right,
I don't see. Yeah, I honestly don't see it happening. I think Amari Moore is pretty much already got a two-way guaranteed, and you're probably going to give it to Chris Livingston, the other one, just because you spent a draft.
No, he could have went higher. I guarantee he's on the 15-man roster.
You think he's on? Yeah, you're probably right. They guaranteed him that spot, so they probably are planning to put him on the roster.
Yeah.
So AJ Green gets a regular spot and not a two-way this time, but
which I think we should give him a regular deal because it's like $1.3 million. That's cheaper than anybody else you could give.
Yep.
So those three right there could be your bottom three, 12 through 15 guys, and then you have one of your two-way guys. So the bottom of the roster is kind of looking okay.
We got to bring Hugo Bassan over here to the States, man.
Hugo Bassan.
Yeah. What is that? What does that mean that we have rights to him, or
we have rights to him, and that dude's a stud. He played with Wemby.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, dude, look him up tonight. We drafted him, I think, 2 years ago. We have his rights.
Okay, that's what it is.
Look up some highlights of him. I'm telling you, he's going to play Summer League.
And he's What'd you just guard, tell us about highlights, Doug?
He's a guard. He's kind of like a ball-dominant guard. But yeah, I know. But watch Summer League. Don't watch.
Why is he over there? Why isn't he coming here then?
I think he had some contract stuff wherever the club he was playing with and things like that. And they just felt he wasn't quite there. You might as well finish your contract with whatever club you're in. I don't know.
Maybe he wanted to play with Wemby.
That too. I don't know. Look him up though. I'm not kidding. I would love to see that dude. I thought Luca Vildoza was going to be a thing last year. I think he could be kind of take that spot. So
by the time our next podcast comes out, there can be a lot more to happen because it's probably the last one of the month. I would imagine.
July 1st is the start of free agency. Which is next Saturday. So
that's when
Saturday
you can start
night or Sunday. Yeah. So our next pod.
That's when you can start signing trading guys too.
Yep.
So
yeah.
we got about a week before all the big stuff happens here.
I think based off of our draft picks, though, we clearly didn't get shooters. We got athletes, and there were a lot of athletes in this draft.
Yeah.
So I think they basically said, like, you know what, there's not a lot of elite shooters, but there's a lot of elite athletes. So let's just go get one of these guys and not gamble on hopefully this shooter is an NBA shooter. Because we've drafted those guys before. Duran Lamb, Rashad Vaughn. Oh, that's a good college shooter, and then couldn't do it in the pros.
Yeah.
But athleticism can transfer. So I'm excited to see what these guys can do, especially with a new coaching staff.
Like John Horst said, you can't teach a guy to grow 4 inches. You can teach him how to shoot. So
exactly. Well, we have a minute left. I think we should try to wrap it up now so we don't have to cut it off like last time. So I don't have to create a generic message for every time we go over.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Is there any big stuff that we missed?
No, we'll talk about it next time, Bryce. We got a minute left, buddy. We're gonna kill it with 45 seconds left.
I got one more thing to talk about now.
Yeah.
We didn't do our ad or whatever.
Product of the week.
Product of the week.
We'll do
reusable ice cubes.
Perfect. Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you.
See you, folks.
On that note, see you, Patrick.
See you guys.
All right. Have a good night, fellas.
Yep. Peace.
All right. Peace.
Go Bucks.
Bucks and 6.